Welcome to Coin Op Adventures. I'm your host, Ames, and this is your place for arcades, pinballs, and much more. And if you notice, and it may be a little too dark for you, I'm sorry. I'm actually outside in the lovely weather that we're having in Ottawa today. It is currently 36 degrees, about 40 with humidity. So, if I'm not in the sun, I'm so sorry. I would rather be in the sun, but I will literally melt and you'll literally see a guy perspirate more than you want to. So I'll stay in the shade. So this story starts off with one of my favorite clients. They were a very good client of mine, and it started off kind of funny. Well, not funny, but they phoned me up and they said, okay, we want to make an arcade in our bar and it's going to be on the second level. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't do second levels. And they're like, well, why not? I said, I don't have a back. I have back issues. Going up the stairs is not something I'm really interested in doing with my machines. It's a lot of work. And there's too many factors to have problems. If it's on the first floor, no problem, I'll do it. And they're like, well, how about we bring up the machines for you at all times, and then we'll bring them down when you need to also. So all you have to do is, once it's up there, is you do your service, what you normally do, and everything. I'm like, okay. So after, a couple of years, I was rotating equipment back and forth. And what I mean by rotating equipment, I would normally just replace the board, leave the arcade there, change the marquee. I wouldn't really change the side art or anything like that because the machines would be changed out every other month. So this was my way of actually changing up changing up what they're already playing and what they got bored with. And whatever was doing great, I would leave. And what wasn't doing great, I would then do the collection. And then I would swap out the board and put a different game in there. And if that worked out perfectly, then I would stay on there. And I would do vice versa. And then the pinballs, well, sort of is a different story. Pinballs, they'll play them, and eventually when they get bored, well, the machine doesn't get played anymore, and then you have to, replace it. So I worked up a deal with Starburst Player One, and I traded in my Hulk. And I was trading it in for my Star Trek Kelvin Universe pinball from Stern. Very fun machine. It was probably one of my machines that was played the most out of my collection, and it was a great thing. But anyways, I had to bring new Ironman from this location off to Montreal, which is about a 2-hour drive, and do the swap. Well, just had the surgery done literally like a week before this. I had 3 discs removed on my lower back and my lumbar. And I'm sorry if there's a bit of noise. There's cars going by back and forth. So please be patient with me. And I really hate motorcycles when they go by too, because I can't hear myself think. Anyways, long story short, I arrive, I load my truck in a loading zone. I also have a handicap sticker, which gives me a little bit more time in those zones. But anyways, I was there for a couple of hours, and basically I was waiting. There's 3 owners at the time, and only one owner showed up. And they all knew that this was happening, the swap and everything. But what ended up happening is something that I didn't foresee. And that's what I call what the frack moment. And well, you can kind of figure out what the frack means. And from now on, this is what I'll be doing most of my swear words with. It'll be frack. So you're aware. Anyways, the owner looks at me and goes, "What the frack? They were supposed to be here at 1 o'clock, and now it's like 2:30." And the owner, I don't blame him for this, but he felt really horrible. But this is what ended up happening. He goes, okay, so you want to get this machine down? I said, yes. And he goes, the other guys aren't here. We're not able to reach them. What's the easiest part for you? I said, well, basically is the guy on the bottom of the pinball. And they're like, oh, okay, so what do you mean by the bottom? I said, well, the person on the top, they'll bring it down, and all basically I'm doing on the bottom is as I'm guiding it. Oh, yeah, okay, that's perfect. Yeah, we'll do that. And I said, if there's ever a problem, yell out to me, and I can brace myself, and then we won't have a situation. Yeah, okay, perfect. Well, he didn't even make it through, unfortunately, the first step. My dolly slips out of his hands. Now I have a pinball machine on a furniture dolly that weighs probably about an extra 75 pounds with this pinball that's roughly, let's say about 600 pounds with a dolly and everything. 15 stairs, and then there was a landing, and then 3 more stairs in the opposite direction. So when the pinball slipped out of his hands, it actually hit me right here. And I went flying down the stairs, these 15 stairs, with this pinball. Luckily, the pinball wasn't damaged, but I wasn't so lucky. When I hit the wall, well, it's a concrete wall. So, unfortunately, something had to give, and that was my lower back. But so what ended up happening is, right after that happened, he's like, oh, you got to sit down, blah, blah. And no, when this machine hit me, I had an electric shock that went literally through my back, through my body, which is basically, you did something stupid. You're about to pay for it. And they're trying to get me to sit down and everything. I'm like, no, I can't sit down. I won't be able to move anymore. I'm like, I know this pain. I've had it before. So what should we do? I said, just throw the machine in my truck. I'm going to get in my truck. I'm going to drive to Montreal. I'm going to phone them up, do the swap, and then I'll drive back. And then when I get home, I'll throw the pinball in the garage, and that's it. So that's exactly what I did. I got on right after the accident happened, threw the pinball in the back of the machine, drove to Montreal, and it was about traffic hours. It took me 2.5 hours. And I phoned the manager there. He was ready, waiting for me with his employees. They swapped out the machine. Off I went. Everything was nice and dandy at this point. So, then I get home. I called my wife, because my wife is aware of the situation. I said, okay, I'm just arriving. We're going to bring the lift bed on my truck down, and we're going to use my pinball dolly. I'm going to put it right underneath. I'll pull the new pinball on top of it, and then we'll just drop it down, and then we can put it in the garage. My wife actually ended up doing it all by herself because she knew I was in severe pain. So after that, I'm like, okay, I'm finally done. I can go lie down and everything. So I go lie down. My wife's like, you should go see the doctor. I'm stubborn. I'm very, very, very stubborn. And I said, no, I can't sit down. I don't want to go see the doctor and bother him. Second day comes by. She goes, you really should go see the doctor. You're like, you don't look good. You're in a lot of pain, and I can see it. No, everything's fine. Everything's fine. And the third time, I'm like, the next day, I'm going to go to the doctor's. Right before she even says anything, that's when she goes, yeah, it's as bad as I thought it was. I was like, yeah, it is. Go see the doctor. Doctor goes, I need you to do something for 6 weeks. I go, what's that? I need you to be in bed. And when you're not in bed, you're either in the washroom and then back to your bed. It's this time of year. It's like, this was the 20th of May. On June 3rd, I was opening up Mont Cascade, which is another location that I had to move 15 machines at every year and pull them out every year. So it's do it in June. By September, pull out all the equipment, and you're basically done by Labor Day weekend in September. So, okay, move everything, and then go see the doctor, and then the doctor goes, I'm sorry, I'm just reiterating what I just said. But anyways, the doctor says, I need you to be in your bed for 6 weeks. Like I said, you have to go there, to the bathroom, and back. If you don't do this, and you tell me you can't do this, I'll send you directly to the hospital. I'm like, okay, well, what's wrong? What's going on here? And he goes, well, you went flying down those stairs. When you hit that wall, you broke your back. And you said you have a weak back and everything, but no, you don't. Right now, the only thing that's holding your back is your muscles. Oh, I did a really fracked up stupid thing again, didn't I? He's like, oh, you fracked up good. This is beyond fracks. So I don't care if it's a busy time of the year or whatever. You pay people or whatever to get it done. You cannot do it or I will send you to the hospital. And he wasn't joking. I'm like, okay, I'll do that. And lo and behold, I have great friends. And I tell them what happened. Both of them, both my best friends just stop everything. Mike and Ken, they stop everything they're doing and they're going, okay, we'll give you a hand on this day. And is that going to be okay? I'm like, yeah, that'll be fine. Rent the truck like I always did. I would rent a big Penske truck. My friend Ken would have to show up because he's from Ontario, which he's allowed to drive a 26-footer. In Quebec, I'm not allowed. So got him to rent the truck. Picked up the equipment at my shop. And then just brought it down. And my shop at the time was basically in the Ottawa-Vanier area, so it was on the way. So they basically loaded the machines, got there. I basically supervised them, put them in and everything. They did all the hard work. I had to stop myself a few times because I was going to help them, not thinking. So luckily I did that, or it would have made it worse. They move it all, everything's fine. I go back home, everything's operating, and I do my full 6 weeks, and then everything is better. I was in a lot of pain after the surgery, and then because of the break and what happened, because they didn't put a metal bar or whatever in the back, well, my back ended up making a big bone callus where I had the surgery. So yay, I can't bend as low as I used to, but I'm not as much pain as I used to be. I'm still in a lot of pain. Both my sciatics are pinched. So what's the moral of the story? Well, it's a what the frack moment. It's always a what the frack moment. Every time you're in arcades and you're moving them, there's always a what the frack's about to happen. Because every time something happens, either funny or sad. Anyways, I'll let you go for the day. Have a nice, wonderful day, and I hope you will subscribe. And thank you for your time, and I'll see you next time. Peace.